dying, and she has a super heavy accent.
Yeah.
Cracking up. And after they got past us, I'm just sitting there yucking it up, and T looks at me and goes, what's funny? And I go, did you miss that?
Yeah.
But he was so trying not to be overwhelmed by everything that he had, I think, turned into a little cocoon. But I was just loving it. It was too much for me. I loved every bit of it. But, yeah, New York was fun. I mean, I don't want to live there.
No.
I don't want to spend any real time there.
No.
But it was the same thing when we were in, part of our trip to Massachusetts, we went to Salem. Mm-hmm. That was where I learned about the truth behind all the witch trial stuff, which was very interesting. Yeah. But my two moments that just cracked me up is we were walking from where we had parked our car to where we were going to the witch trial thing. And this group of people are coming towards us, and this guy kind of just chucks his chin at us, and he's like, hey, how's you guys doing?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm like, how's yous guys doing? And I really was like, how do I wheeze guys? Or
great.
I mean, and so I just was like, great.
Yeah.
You? But how's yous guys doing?
There's too many, too much. Gotta go.
Well, and the guy who sold us the tickets to do the thing, you know.
The stuff in the place.
Sure, right. The trial stuff.
Right.
The reenactment, which, by the way, was fascinating. You know, you can pack your car.
Oh, no.
You can pack your car?
Pack your car.
Yeah. In the yard.
In the yard.
And I'm loving it. I'm like, I wanted to hear a Boston accent.
Yeah, right.
There it was. And if you're a Kennedy, you can pack your car in the river.
I'm leaving.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah, I think most of the trips I've taken most recently, last trip I took, I went to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, because that's where my in-laws live, and my partner's family. And so it was fun. I got to learn a lot. I got to see a lot. It's beautiful. One of my favorite moments, though, is my mom also lives in Montana, and so we're visiting her. And she lives like 13 miles outside of this tiny, tiny town. And the day we were leaving her house and going to my in-laws, we went to breakfast at the local, bar, restaurant, I don't know what, hospital, it could have been anything, God knows. But, so, we park on the street, it's a tiny town, it's Mayberry RFD full of racists, essentially, right? And so we're walking out, I'm getting out of the car, and there's just like a huddle of old men standing on the sidewalk talking, doing their thing. And I eavesdrop because why not? And I'm walking past them, and one of the old guys says, well, I was watching the news and I just heard that in New York City they just passed a law where you can abort your child up to 3 years of age. And I could not keep it together. And I was like, sir, that's murder. You can't just murder your children and call it abortion anymore. It's
called retroactive abortion.
Right, but he was dead set in the fact that, no, I learned on the television.
New York City.
New York City, you can kill your 3-year-old. I don't actually. And I was just, tickled by it. There's also, at the local gas station called the Town Pump, which makes me want to vomit every time I say it. I don't know why, it makes me feel so gross, but the Town Pump just sounds icky to me. Anyway, there's a gross dude who worked behind the counter. And my partner gives me a lot of shit because he was, hitting on me. And he was some middle-aged dude who was like, hey, you're pretty. And I was like, I know. And he was like, you should come see me and my family's band play. What? And I said, no. He's like, my kids are your age. That's hot. Thanks for telling me. I loved it. But he was like, you should come see my band play. You know what the name is? They're called White Trash Dumpster Fire. And I said, sir, no way in any sort of hell am I going to come see your band called White Trash Dumpster Fire. Later, and everyone knows everyone. So he knew who my mom was, which I'm like, I'm leaving.
This is too small.
I hate it here. And I genuinely did. What? Hate it there. It was fucking crazy, but...
Yeah.
But again, Montana...
Did you go see White Trash Dumpster Fire?
No, bitch, I avoided... most people...
Your childhood was a White Trash Dumpster Fire.
Girl. But I avoided every... Montana was fun, though. I got to go to, an old Wild West town. I got to go panning for gold. I got to see a lot of, what is beautiful. National parks. I got to meet all of my partner's family. It was just like a good time. But there are parts of it that I'm like, LOL. And the fact that I have to go through Idaho, it's never the tea, girl.
No.
And we drove through it Coeur d'Alene more than once, which is like, Coeur d'Alene is like it's beautiful. And it's sad to me that it's been taken over by Nazis, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that.
My one trip to Montana was when I was 19 to go visit family because, you know, my mom's from Montana, was born there. And we went to visit her family who still live up there, and her Aunt Helen, who at that time I think was in her early hundreds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe older. She was old. But sweet, darling woman who lived there her whole life. And she was going to give us a tour of the town. The town was exactly a block and a half long, so that was quick. But, I mean, she took us through the outskirts, which was 3 blocks.
Yeah.
But I love, as she was driving us around, pointing out the things, and here's the bar, and here's the this, and then that, and the other thing. We get to the edge of town, and there's this little tiny cabin, and she's like, and this is the bachelor cabin. And I thought, okay, why is it called the bachelor cabin? And she said, well, these 2 old bachelors just lived here their whole lives until they died, and blah, blah, blah. And they were just 2 old single gentlemen who never got... I said, were they?
Sounds right.
Were they, Aunt Helen?
This sounds like a Brokeback Mountain situation.
Well, considering it's Eureka, Montana, which is right on the base of the Rockies. It's on the American side of the Rockies. You know, it's like... Because the Canadian... If you look out your window, you're looking at the Canadian Rockies.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Right.
But it is definitely... That was a Brokeback Mountain situation.
Girl.
I'm sorry, 2 old bachelors. I think that's adorable, Aunt Helen, that you think that. That's so cute.
Because gay people can't exist.
Not in Montana. Not in Eureka, Montana, for Christ's sake. But that was my one and only trip to... Oh, my God. So, we went and stayed up at one of... Well, some other relatives said, oh, I have a cabin on the lake that you can stay at. And I'm all, ooh, a lake house? No, girl. She was not kidding. It was a cabin on the lake that did not have a bathroom inside. You had to go to the outhouse outside. No, ma'am.
I would pee in a bucket.
No, ma'am, Pam. I would just pee on the floor. I pee in my bed. I was like, I'm not going out there. There's bears out there. And they told us, they said, if you have to use the porta potty, not the porta potty, what do you call it? The outhouse. Yeah. It wasn't no porta potty. It was built in there. It was forever. You know, you should probably take something out. Well, take a flashlight, but take something, make noise to scare the bears away. Bitch, I'll pee my pants before I go out in the middle of the night.
They won't want me because I smell like pee-pee.
Or they will. I don't know which. I don't know how it is with theirs.
You should know.
But I was sitting at the next day that we were there. We're sitting out. Well, 2 stories that are funny. I'm sitting around a campfire with my younger brothers the first night we were there, and we're telling scary stories like kids do. And I'm 19, and so they're 3 and 5 years younger than me. And sitting around telling scary stories, and all of a sudden we hear, help! Help! And I about shit myself right then. And thankfully the outhouse was closed. It was peacocks.
Oh.
That is what they sound like.
They
sound
sound
like
in
they're
Montana?
screeching for help.
What?
They had peacocks. The next day, I'm sitting on the dock playing a game of backgammon with my younger brother. And one of the backgammon pieces falls into the water. I'm looking down and I'm like, I can see exactly where that piece is. It's crystal clear water. Beautiful. So I got down into the lake to get, and as soon as I touched the bottom, it was silt. And so it was just this cloud of dirt. And I'm like, well, the piece is gone.
Yeah.
And I'm under the dock because my head was still above water. And I'm trying to find the piece with my hand and my foot and whatever. And then something furry swam over my legs.
I'm leaving.
I don't know how I got back on the dock, but before I even finished screaming... I was on the dock and said, I don't care if I ever have that backgammon PC. I don't think I've even played backgammon since then. I was traumatized, girl.
No, ma'am. I would have shit twice and died. Do you know what I mean? There's no way.
Thank you, Molly Ringwald.
Thanks. But there's no way. Water? No, ma'am. Okay, so this isn't about traveling. Kind of. When I lived in San Pedro, which if you don't know is at the very bitty bottom of Los Angeles County, right across a bridge from Long Beach. And to the west is the Pacific Ocean. Right off of it is Catalina Island, which a lot of people know, right? So my ex in LA, who I've talked about before, his family was all hoity-toity, and they're like, we're going to go to Catalina, and you're going to come with us. And I said, oh, fucking goody. And so we went, and we took the helicopter. It was all cute. Loved it. But they're like, we're going to go snorkeling and scuba diving in the cove. And I said, have fun. They're like, no, you're coming. And I said, no. I am absolutely not. And then they tried to, like, convince, it's going to be so beautiful. You're going to really regret it if you don't go snorkeling. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't think you, bitch, understand me, homegirl. I can't handle it. No, being under the water, seeing any sort of creature, looking down and seeing the depths. No, I'll die in the middle of the ocean.
That's where you ask, have you ever seen anyone put a cat in a bathtub? That's how I'll be.
Come with me, bitch. We're going to go find a cat right now. Like, and his mom then after that was like not a fan. I mean, I don't think she was ever a huge fan. But the whole family had such a bad taste in their mouth because I ruined their trip. Because I wouldn't go snorkeling. And I'm like, you fucking losers can go snorkeling on your own. There's plenty of other shit I can go do. You know what I mean?
I'm going to go shopping.
Right.
Where it's dry.
Right. I would much rather go out to that field and look at like the wild buffalo or whatever they are. There's some sort of creature that wanders. I don't remember what it was. I was fuming though. So I just sat on the beach.
I love that you just not going into the water somehow ruined their trip.
Yeah. Girl,
our
listen, it reminds me of like our family though, who's like, you haven't been around in 2 years and you've literally you're the one who ruined the family. And I'm like,
you're by not being here?
You're right. I live my life.
Had I been there, I probably would have.
Yeah, bitch.
Because what you'd have done what?
I would have locked him in and burned it down.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
That's quite a ride. I mean, really. We're like tickety talking right up here to the last moment. So my tales for the drag closet is also about
the drag
crypt. Well, any older and it will be. But it's also about happens to be about traveling. Back again when I was Empress, I traveled all over the place.
Sure.
One of the places I traveled was Idaho. Was Boise, Idaho, in July. It is 400 degrees and windy. I'm like, so there's this like scorching wind that like sandpapers your face. It's horrible. Anyway, so I'm at this hotel with 400 other queer people, and we're getting ready for coronation, and I get it, and I had traveled by van from Portland to Boise with a van full of queer people.
Girl.
Not all who liked each other, so that made it fun too. Well, get in the elevator because I don't know where we're going. We're going somewhere, who cares, doesn't matter. One of the people in the elevator is my friend, who is a lesbian.
Friend?
But who is the kind of lesbian who you're thinking, if any shit goes down, I want her with me because she's going to kick some ass. Because she was this butch, tough looking.
Yes, ma'am.
The elevator breaks down.
And she breaks down.
And oh my god, no, she does not break down. She literally collapses against the wall and slides down to the floor and turns into this like puddle of tears and snot. And I'm like, what is happening? The doors closed, the elevator didn't move, nothing. It's not like we fell 20 floors. And she panicked. I was all, what on earth is happening? You're in an elevator with a bunch of drag queens, and you're supposed to be the tough one, and you're on the floor in the fetal position crying
because the elevator
doors closed and didn't go anywhere. And literally, had the elevator fallen, it would have gone down.
Girl,
one
if
floor.
this was the motherfucking Tower of Terror, then power, honey.
But it was like, this elevator I think was only 4 stories high to begin with, so it's like, what if it fell? You weren't going to get too hurt. Pretty jostled around a little bit. Might knock your crown.
And just land on one of these queens. You'll be fine.
Might knock your crown off. Right. Whatever. Tower of Terror. Oh, I can't wait. Next week. Yeah, next week. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be traveling. Going to Disneyland.
When you come back, your locks will be changed.
Damn.
You will no longer be invited to live here.
I'm so excited. I haven't been on vacation since before the shutdown.
I'm excited for you.
Our last trip was Christmas 2019. Went to San Diego. Which is where I want to live now. So I just have to win the big lottery. Because the temperature is 72 degrees, average year round. I actually want to live on Coronado Island.
You can't.
I know. Well, I could afford to spend a day there.
So, okay.
That's about it, because it's $1 bajillion, but it's beautiful. Anywho, but somehow that brings us to, I didn't even talk about the little handful of topics I think I got to some. Did I get to all of them? I don't know. Who cares?
You started with topics, bitch.
No, I mean all of the